News, announcements, so much going on. It's The Real Estate Show. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. My name is Rick Naples. I am the owner-broker of Zone Realty LLC. You zone your home. First of all, a little bit of an announcement. For some of you that haven't heard already, The Real Estate Show now is podcasting. You can listen to episodes of The Real Estate Show on your favorite podcast sites. Just look up The Real Estate Show, Rick Naples, and enjoy a few of the shows that we've done in the past, as well as some of our current ones. Now, let's talk about what's going on in the marketplace. Well, we know home prices are rising like crazy. We know also that the interest rates are starting to go up. And we know that first-time buyers are pretty much squeezed out of the market. Now, let me explain what I mean by squeezed. House comes up for sale. Unless you're in the position to put a lot of money down or to offer over asking or in a cash position, trying to win the offer for that house and then get the financing for that house is a big challenge. Usually, when someone's a first-time buyer, they're going to purchase a home and look to put as little money down as possible. And there are programs that will work with as little as 3% down. The problem is we have an influx of investors, people that have cash available to come in and buy homes to either fix them up and flip them or to keep them and make them rental properties. We've been listening to the news and reading the headlines as to what's been going on as far as rental properties are concerned. Rents are going up also, as well as mortgages and the prices of houses. So if you're looking to be a real estate investor, unless you've got a lot of cash that's available, it might not be possible. There's also a higher risk in this market for the investors. You know, they purchase a home, and if they have to buy the home over asking price, it's going to take a much longer time for them to be able to recoup their investment on that home. Well, let's get back to the first-time buyer. I mean, is all hope lost? Is it a situation where you're not going to be able to buy a house right now? Well, from all the different articles that we're seeing out there and all the news reports that are going on, that's a good possibility. You may have to wait a bit to see if the markets begin to stabilize and home prices start to come down a little bit. Now, our home price is going to come down. Again, all kinds of news out there, all kinds of articles that are out there that are saying that home prices will continue to rise through the rest of 2022 and probably into 2023. And it's going to be a while before we see the market start to stabilize to such a point where house prices might even off or even start to decrease. But are we seeing some home prices drop a little bit? Well, yes, we are. Some homes are staying on the market a little longer than they did, and some homes are actually adjusting their prices to more realistic numbers. But again, it's still tough for the first-time buyer to get out there and buy a home. For someone that is selling their house and then buying a house to go to, if they have equity in the house that they're selling, they have the monies to work with to go to their next home. But right now, what's happening right now today is we have an economy that is kind of out of control because of different things that are happening in Europe, and I'll talk about that a little later. We're seeing gas prices go up, grocery prices go up, building supplies going up, just everything is going up as far as general costs are concerned. So for someone that lives paycheck to paycheck, it's much more difficult, even if you have some money in savings, to want to move forward and purchase a house. You might decide that you want to just kind of sit on your money in savings for a while, and again, as I said, wait for the markets to stabilize before you move into a new home. Now, whether it's this market now or whether it's the market of yesterday, the procedure is still the same. I mean, the procedure in purchasing a home has not really changed all that much, but we have seen the influences of what's going on change what's going as far as prices and mortgage rates are concerned. It all comes down to affordability. If you can afford the mortgage payment on the home you're looking to purchase, then by all means move forward. If it's a situation where a mortgage payment on a house is less than what you might pay for your needs for a rent, then by all means see if you can find a house to purchase. If it's a situation where your mortgage is too much and it's just not working for you at this particular point in time as far as what you can afford comfortably, then obviously you're going to need to wait and see what happens later on. Now let's get back to the investors. The investors are taking a hard risk as far as purchasing a home and hoping that they can hold on to it and that its price is going to increase and they can resell it for a profit. So what they're looking to do is they're looking to expand their margin. Now, anyone that's out there that's in business knows that you survive on the difference between what you sell something for and what your actual cost is, your profit. So if you're an investor and you're purchasing a home, idealistically you want to follow the old guideline of buying low and selling high. Does that work in today's market? Sometimes it might, sometimes it might not. Because you see, even if an investor has the cash to purchase a home and they look for a low-priced home, like a foreclosure home or a bank-owned home or something that needs some work, they're going to have extra costs trying to fix that home up to get it in the position to resell it for any kind of a profit. And time is of the essence. Most investors want to be able to come in, buy a house at a low price, fix it up and get it back on the market within a 60 to 90 day period. And we've seen this happen historically, but the risk is, will that house sell for the costs that they've put into it? In other words, building supplies have gone up, hiring crews to work, expenses have gone up. So you have to factor that all in. So even the investors are finding it a little bit hard to find those homes for them to buy. The advantage they have, though, is they have the cash on hand. So they don't have to worry about a mortgage payment coming up or an interest rate on a mortgage or those kinds of things. So it's a little bit of a challenge for the buyer compared to the investor. Now let's talk about the seller's homes that are going on the market. It's still a seller's market, unfortunately. It won't change to a buyer's market for quite a while yet. So you have a situation where a seller, if they look to put their house on the market, they're probably going to get their asking price, if not a little bit more. I was asked the question the other day that this is a seller's bonanza. I mean, people put their house on the market and they're making so much money over their asking prices. I mean, it's great, it's wonderful. But what people don't consider is, if someone's putting their house on the market to sell it and make a profit and then maybe retire or travel or something along those lines, that's great. But most of the time people are putting their house on the market because they have a need. They need to scale down or scale up or move to another state or whatever the reasoning might be. So the money they make on selling their home, they may have to turn around and take that money and use it as the negotiation tool to purchase the next home they want to get into. So it's kind of a plus-minus situation when we're looking at the seller as far as putting their home on the market. Now, how many houses are on the market? Well, I've been reading a lot, and we are behind the number of houses that usually come on the market during this spring season time. I can't pin if that's actually a cautiousness. People don't want to put their houses on the market because they don't know what the economy is going to do in the future, and if they own their house outright, maybe they just want to stay in their homes for a while, or they're waiting to see if the market goes up even higher before they put their house on the market. But there seems to be a little bit of a hesitation out there. But because those inventories, homes for sale, are so low, the buyers that are looking to buy a house have fewer choices. So this is what causes that little bit of a buying frenzy with people going in and wanting to buy houses for more than what they're listed for. Let's talk a bit, just for a moment, about what's been happening over in Europe. Because of the war that is happening with Russia and Ukraine at this particular time, there's a lot of questions as to the overall effect. Now, we already know how it's hurt and caused increases in our gas prices. And we already were suffering from COVID pandemic effects with supplies getting to the stores. So we've started to see, the cost of groceries and building supplies and all those things start to go up because they're not getting to the stores as often as they did. We're also seeing the cost of those people that provide those things go up. So of course they're passing that along to the consumer. So again, there's a little bit of an uncertainty out there as to where we're going. Now, as a realtor, my job is to help people sell their homes and to help buyers find a home to buy. That's basically what a realtor does. Of course, we do consider ourselves experts in the markets to which we service. We do continuing education to keep ourselves up to date on everything that's going on as far as the processes of purchasing a home, transactions, and so on and so forth, ways things change. We see things change, it's from the change of the way something is referred to the way we approach showing a home, to even the way a contract is written on a home. But realtors are known to adjust themselves and match themselves to whatever the market is commanding or needing to be. So you still can work with a realtor out there and still feel confident that that realtor, even in this crazy market, is going to be able to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. It is a challenge, though. A lot of realtors that are out there are looking to have a very good 2022 as far as sales are concerned, but at the same time, probably not as many sales as they've had in years past. Now, you have to remember that realtors are independent contractors, so I'd like to point out at this particular time that here in our state, the state of Connecticut, as well as everywhere else in the United States, Realtor commissions are negotiable. You can ask when a realtor comes out to list your home what they charge and what that charge involves. And you can negotiate on that charge. We've seen lots of advertisements from a lot of realtors that are out there doing cut rate rates or offering, low percentages and those kinds of things. But you want to look at the whole package. There are a lot of flat rate companies out there, companies that do, their splits, their percentages on sales very, very low. Some that offer, discounts and things along those lines. But make sure you read between the lines and you understand what it is that's all about. Because a lot of times it looks great on the surface, but when you peel back the layers a little bit, you find that there's other things that are involved that you want to be aware of, because it may not be as inexpensive as you think it is. Let's take a look at this, and I'll be back in a moment to talk a little bit more on what's going on with the real estate market in this particular time. Several articles have come out that are reporting kind of what's going on in the marketplace, and I follow as many as I possibly can. A lot of you that have been watching the real estate show over the years know that I like to read articles, and whether I find them in the newspapers or online or listen to a blog or even a podcast. I gather lots of information because I like to keep myself informed, and I'm sure you do too. Some of the magazines that are out there are reporting what's happening in the marketplace as far as the effect of the war to how it's affecting the U.S. real estate marketplace. And they talk about what I've just said. The way prices are going up, gas prices going up, building prices going up, just the cost of everything going up. And it becoming a little bit more difficult for those of us that live paycheck to paycheck to make ends meet. We've seen some articles come out that are telling us what they expect, how much more it's going to cost you for the same amount of services that you've gotten earlier in the year. How much more it's going to cost you average for a family, and they usually use a family of four, at the grocery store as far as groceries are concerned. The thing is we do have a situation where the costs on everything, even houses and mortgages, are going up. Unfortunately, our personal incomes are not. And we're looking at, although the economic situation for employment, in other words, jobs are available, have increased. I read an article recently where a number was thrown out saying that 80% of the jobs that were lost because of COVID have now been filled. And that's great news. But those jobs are not paying enough to keep up with the rise in prices of what's going on. all these different factors and all these different things that are involved that are happening makes it difficult for someone that's looking to become a homeowner to make that decision as to whether or not they want to move forward and buy a house. So what would motivate someone to purchase a home when it's a seller's market, prices are going up, mortgage rates are going up, and income isn't keeping pace? Need, urgency. Life goes on. So we have situations where we have people that, regardless of what the market is doing, they have a need to purchase a home. And there's all kinds of personal reasons, economic reasons, situations or whatever that might motivate someone to look for a home. The need is also combined with what I call urgency. In other words, we need to buy a home, and we need to buy the home now. Mortgage rates are going to go up. I've heard from some of the articles that I've read that the interest rates may increase as many as 6 times during 2022. So where are we going to end up with interest rates? We'll see. Depends on what the Federal Reserve does with the interest bumps. If they're a quarter point apiece, we could see 4.5–5% rates by the end of this year. But don't put that down in stone. Things can change. They're saying that home prices are increasing another 17–18% in 2022 compared to where they were. I read an article that was published by a large real estate firm that basically looked at where house prices were before COVID started and where houses are now, and they're talking about several $1,000s in increases as far as the prices of homes are concerned. So the urgency is, if you're looking to purchase a home because of a need, you might want to do it as soon as possible, only because you're trying to head off the interest rates increasing and the prices going up higher. My final thought on this show is it's tough. It's tough out there, folks. So if you're looking to purchase a home, remember it is a seller's market. Work with a realtor. Keep your options open. Keep your mind open. Maybe be a little bit creative. But if there is a need and you do have an urgency, it is still possible for you to buy your first home. My name is Rick Naples, and this has been The Real Estate Show. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
The water's warm at Jaws Pond, and we're stocked full of treasures. Big or small, we buy it all. We buy and sell fast rides, power tools, vintage guitars, and so much more. Walk the plank in style with our fine jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Plus, we have a huge selection of the latest video games, including the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Jaws Pond, conveniently located on Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington and West Main Street in New Britain.